welcome to the MacPack.
We're back.
My name is Jamie Kenner, and to my left this week in order the man on the panel, who is the biggest Ash Williams fan we've got. It's my little brother Joe. How are you, boy?
Yes, I think I might be. I've been a massive fan ever since I first heard him on Team Effort.
And to my right, coming in at 6'1", as he does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack, who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you, mate?
He is the man of the hour today. We're about to have a big chat with him on the pod.
We are indeed. He's a bit of a man of mystery.
He's an enigma.
But he does so much of so many things that he's got a diversified portfolio.
Oh, majorly.
So diverse, in fact, that we'll get into it in a bit.
Could describe it.
Including him. I don't even think, if you were to ask him what he does, I don't think he'd be able to explain it.
Yeah, we'll want to.
No, Ash is an absolute superstar. He was very valuable. He gave us some very valuable time, and we are a massive, massive fans of his work. It's a massive ep. Let's get into it. Boys!
Brother Mingo.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Bloody pumped, Jakey boy.
We're fired up. We've got Ash Williams on
Fired
the
up
pod.
to sit down.
Fired up to sit
make some
down.
noise.
Make some bloody noise.
It is always interesting because you're always the first person we lead with in the introductions. So I always, no matter who the guest is, could be someone you've never heard of. I
You're
always
the
just say,
favourite.
I'm everyone's favorite.
I just
fan.
always lead with you're the biggest fan.
It's
And sometimes it's not true, but this time it is.
Yeah, no, Ash is a star. Most people, I'm trying to work out how most people would know Ash because there's so many different things that you might know him from. It's not like he's a basketballer, so you only know him from playing basketball. He's an entertainer. He's a comedian. He's been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
He's on Neighbours.
He was on Neighbours. He's done multiple different stints on radio. He's got his own podcast. He's on a podcast called Team Effort, which we absolutely love.
Yep, that's with Ed Cavalier and Tony Martin.
Yeah, plus Ross Noble's often in there.
Yeah, Lima. A lot of any...
Basically anyone that's got like a free hour can just jump just jump on this podcast. He's an absolute superstar. He's a very, very funny man in the sense that he doesn't need much to tell a hilarious tale.
Yeah, in the first 2 minutes, I think I was crying with laughter.
Yeah, you'll come to learn what happened. We'll just maybe set the scene for the podcast itself. The morning that we organised to tee it up with him happened to be the day of the Melbourne Marathon.
Yes. What's the Melbourne Marathon?
Well, it's a marathon that's run in Melbourne.
There you go.
Right.
If you guys couldn't really put that together.
But apparently, so the story goes, it's a very believable tale.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
He was stuck in some pretty heavy Melbourne Marathon traffic, as I imagine there were a lot of
runners.
people either running or just supporting at the event. There would have been a huge crowd throughout Melbourne, and he was trying to make his way through the city streets, I believe, on his way to get to the office so that he could have a chat with us. And we received a handful of very, very pacey emails, more or less stating, boys,
how's the car?
Yeah, might just be doing the pod from the vehicle at the moment because he was basically in a standstill situation.
But obviously we didn't want to put the man in danger. So we said, we're happy to wait.
No, it wouldn't look great if Ash Williams gets in an 8-car pile up and we have to pause
because we're on
pause
on
the show and then we're on the news as a
Great
result.
for the press, though.
So he was very good with his time and made it to the office, and then we teed it up from there. And then he gave us even more time. I think he enjoyed. You'll notice you'll notice the vibe of the chat shift at all sorts of different points. But I think at the start, and I think this is not. He mentions this.
Yeah,
he's not very. He wasn't stoked, but he was just like he was doing a really nice thing by being on the pod. And then I think he gained, as he said, a great deal of respect for us over the course of about 40 minutes.
Which is exactly what you want to hear.
Purely based on one sentence as well.
But I would always prefer it to be no respect at the start, or lack of respect
100%.
at the start, and then more respect at the end, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, if you come in with full respect and you walk out going, well, that sucks, that's not what you want. So we're getting pretty good at starting from 0 and ending at closer to 100.
Yeah, that's
Which I
good.
think
That's
is
what we want to do.
You
on the show.
the whole reason this came about because I think we'd messaged him in the past.
Yep.
And then we found out because obviously Olivia was part of the Miss Universe competition in 2024, only a couple of weeks ago now.
That's exactly right. And when I was buying the tickets, I saw that the host of the night was none other than Ash Williams himself, and I'd kept hearing stories that Jake and Joe had told me about this man.
Man of mystery.
Absolutely.
This man of mystery. And I'd listened to some of his stuff before, and so when I met him, I made sure I got the opportunity to meet him at the after party, and we had a chat about this potential podcast, which has now come to fruition.
And you must have made a good impression because he was very happy to jump on.
That's it.
He was happy to jump on and have a chat to us. Now, we had a great fun time with Ash Williams. Brace yourselves, the first couple of minutes are pretty intense.
Very funny, though. Honestly, one of the funniest guests we've ever had on the show.
Absolutely.
Him and Dad, neck and neck.
Yeah. But no, he was completely unhinged to begin with, which is what we absolutely
what we were
love.
expecting.
Permission to be unhinged at all times. Enjoy our chat with Ash. Follow the roller coaster that was... Well, we experienced it probably in real time as well, and I'm sure that you will get a laugh out of it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. This is Ash Williams on the MacPack Podcast. Ash Williams, thank you so much for joining us, mate. How are you?
Boys, I've been better. I've just been stuck in traffic for about an hour. There's a Melbourne marathon in Melbourne. And, traffic's bad enough, but when you need to do a piss as well, it just takes your road rage to a new level.
Didn't have a spare bottle in the car?
Mate, I did, and I was about to. Wee into the Rockaby's iced coffee. There's 30 grams of protein. I would have put more than that in the old Rockaby's. But I knew that if I could hold on just to get to a respectable alleyway, that it would be a great feeling. So I held on, mate, but God, I was on the horn. I've never tooted. I reckon I tooted 50 people in the last half an hour.
That's almost 2
Gave some bloke the bird. I was an animal out there.
He was doing the marathon.
He was running.
Well, he didn't. Here's the thing. He was walking, because this is the thing. Like, yeah, when you need to do a wee, you just. And I'm hungover too, so there's a few things going on. But he started walking across the traffic lights with his girlfriend, and the red man was already
Flashing?
like static.
Oh, okay.
No, he wasn't flashing. The red man was dead, right? So he starts walking with his girlfriend, and I was like, mate, I'm gonna fucking give it to this bloke. If he's not through when it turns green, he's getting some. And he was so far out of his crease, and so I'm giving him the bird. Fucking, he's looking at me, and it's also like you got to be a bit careful because sometimes you give people the bird, and maybe they listen to your podcast, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But who gives a fuck? But yeah, man. I made it. I'm here, guys. Great to be on the podcast.
There you go.
Fantastic. That's the key.
Good introduction to Ash Williams, comedian, podcaster, a little bit of everything. Can you tell us who you are, Ash? Give the people a bit of a description of how you describe Ash Williams.
Oh, guys, I can't be fucked answering those questions. You can do that. That's not for me. I'm not going to tell you what I am. And if you know what, if maybe it's up to you guys to do that.
Okay, we'll do it in the intro.
Just I can't be fucked.
Fair enough. I love it. Tell it how it is. Obviously, Ash, we met at the
you're right.
You go.
Well, no, so we met at the Miss Universe.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
what I'm interested is how much were the tickets to Miss Universe?
Ash hosted the night, so he didn't have to pay anything. But I was in the cheap seats, and I paid around $350.
Oh my God!
But I think the
Dude,
most
I
expensive
tell you,
was $550. So there you go. Payday for Ash Williams.
Well, no, I'm not getting paid enough. Dude, I'm getting ripped off. Fucking hell, man, they're making pretty good money over there, aren't they? So Good for me to know. I'll run some numbers after this. But yeah.
We've just sunk the Miss Universe competition moving forward.
There you go.
Love it. Goodness gracious me.
But
So
they do that in Perth. And I was in after Miss Universe. I did some stand up at the Comedy Lounge in Perth. And mate, they are making. I didn't know tickets were like $60 a pop to that joint, and it was sold out. I think it holds about 120. Dude, they are making bank.
yeah, right.
Compared to what they're paying the comedians. Like, it's like, dude, someone's in the water in Perth. You guys know how to ticket an event and make
yeah. All the mining money.
Your infamous quote from the night of the Miss Universe was "Make some noise," and we want to know, where did the "Make some noise" quote come from? Where did it begin? Do you remember the first time you said it?
Well, it was just the first time I hosted Miss Universe. It was in the script.
Oh,
So
right.
someone had written it, and I was kind of just going off the script, and it just said "make some noise," and so I just said "make some noise," and everyone made noise. And this was in 2017, I think, and I don't think "make some noise" had like taken off, because "make some noise" is like huge now.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's annoying how huge it is. Like, Old El Paso definitely stole it off me. Like, Old El Paso stole the graphics I had. So I had like Make Some Noise hats and some other merchandise, and Old El Paso have the same font, the same color red, the same italics.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I mean, I can't be bothered fighting Old El Paso, they're a good company. But anyway, so Make Some Noise was in the script, and then I don't know. I've just kept saying
become
it.
its own thing.
I feel like yeah, kind of, but it's losing power.
get back on the writing board. Get some new ideas up there.
We did a little bit of research, obviously, and despite you not wanting to discuss it, you obviously did a fair bit like in the entertainment industry. Can you walk us through a little bit about what you've done over the journey?
Yeah, boys. How many people listen to this podcast?
Good question.
We got a couple hundred,
not
probably,
bad.
but then we
That's
have
not bad.
our TikToks have probably hundreds of thousands of views each week. So there you go.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the TikTok's pretty big. The TikTok goes very well.
But they're just like the
fuck,
short little clips.
Okay, I'll start fucking putting some effort in. No, I had no idea. You guys are flying.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it.
Because when I was stuck in traffic, I was like, "Fuck, mate." Going to do a podcast, for a podcast that doesn't really have listeners is not a good business decision. But I was just like, "Fuck it, I've committed to." I met Riley at the Miss Universe, and he seemed like a good fella, so I was like, happy to fucking jump on. But you guys I didn't know you were big on TikTok. So what have I done in my entertainment career? I mean, God, I've done a lot of things, guys. There's a lot of things I've done. But I mean, from radio to stand up to acting, I've been on Neighbours. I've lived in America. I've done silly jobs. I've done, jobs in America for money, like tickling videos. Done. There's nothing I haven't done except like full escort work. I've done like sex escorting. I've never done sex escorting. I'm not going to rule it out. But I've done escorting for like companion escorting.
Yeah,
where
like
you go
dinners
on
and
dates.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. It's actually fantastic. It's great money, and you can just get sauced up on champagne and whatever else, and get paid cash. But then after a while, they want to have sex with you. So that's when you have to figure out what you're trying to do in your life. And I'm at the time I said no, but I'm thinking about saying yes at the moment. But that's in America. That's escorting in America. So
Yeah,
I feel
okay.
like, I'm I got told that I could have been one of the greats by the bloke who ran the Gigolo agency. He said, "You could be one of the greats, Jasper," because I didn't want to give him my real name. So I said,
Yeah.
I'm Jasper.
That's your tickling character name.
It is my tickling character name, so I kept the same name. Jasper's my alter ego. If you ever see me and I'm rolling with Jasper, you know I'm up to some dodgy shit. So Jasper brings in the money, and Jasper says yes to things, and Jasper could have been one of the great escorts. So I had this Asian lady. I went on a date with her, and she's beautiful, and she wanted to pay me $3,000 to have sex with her, and I just cannot believe I said no. I think about it regularly, and
The one that got away.
yeah, I mean, what the hell was I doing? So I don't know, man. I think show business is and entertainment. It's like, well, it kind of is escorting. It's very similar. You're essentially on the street trying to sell your services and whatever you do. Maybe you do comedy, maybe you do foot pics or tickling videos, or you do radio. You're always trying to sell what you do. So either you're doing that yourself, or you have a manager or someone who does that for you. But show business is a dirty industry.
Yeah. So I first heard of you. I started listening to the Team Effort podcast, and I knew Ed and Tony. I started listening because of them, and I was just blown away by how funny you were. Have you always, just like the way you tell, even like obviously now you've had us in stitches, the way you tell stories about seemingly just like anything, have you always been able to be so funny doing that, or is that something you've developed over time?
It's a great question, actually. That's actually a great question. Well, I think I've always been good at it, but you get better at it the more you do it. But I've always been able to tell a good story, and I've always enjoyed making people laugh, and I think it came very naturally to me. And I remember at school we had to do a talk, and you could do a talk on anything you wanted, and everyone was doing talks on like fucking footballers, and like, you had 5 minutes, right, in front of the class, and people would talk about Jason Dunstall or Peter Sumich or whoever, and it's like, this is just so boring. And I remember the teacher was like, Ash, you've got to do your talk. And I said, look, I'm going to do it tomorrow, Mr. Ferguson. And he's like, well, you're the only one who hasn't done it, so you hurry up. And so I remember I was like, what am I going to talk about? And I started writing like a 5-minute story on Kieran Perkins. Yeah, and I was like, Kieran Perkins has just won the 1500 meter gold. And I was halfway through it, and I was just like, this is so boring. So I just started writing like things I thought were funny. So I was just, I was promoting Neighbours. I was like, Neighbours is really good at the moment. There was a character called Amy. Amy's got a new haircut. She's looking hot. You want to chuck it on Neighbours 6:30, Channel 10. So then I'd do a lot. Unbeknownst to me, I'd formed a 5-minute stand-up set, and I was like talking about coffee, and I riffed off like 10 things, not knowing that I was doing stand-up. I was just doing what I thought was funny, and it fucking did really well. And the teacher said, "Oh, you would have won the class prize, but you were a week late with your presentation, but it was really, really good." And then I just got on with my life. But when people say, "Oh, have you always had a knack of telling stories or being funny?" you kind of look back on your life and you go, "Well, there's lots of touchstones that stand out." And it definitely comes naturally to me. But that doesn't mean that if you're not a natural storyteller, you can't get better. You just need to do more of it. And so many comedians are shit storytellers. They might be fucking joke tellers, like up and down joke comedians, but like, I don't know. I like to tell stories, and definitely plays to my forehand for sure.
There you go. We're big fans of radio here, and we're getting into some community radio at the moment. We've been fortunate enough to have on the podcast Matt O'Kine, Liam Stapleton, and Tim Blackwell from Nova and Triple J. We found out that you worked at Nova. So what was that like? Did you love the radio industry? And what was your biggest takeaway from that line of work?
Yeah, well, that's when I started really doing it full time. Because I started at Nova just doing weekends and stuff like that, and then I got an opportunity to work with Husey and Kate, who were on the morning show, and that was like 5 a.m. till midday every day. And I was like, at the time, I had a marketing agency that I had started, which actually wasn't. When I say a marketing agency, it started out as like a topless. No. It was a topless male waitering agency, and we only did hens parties.
Yeah, right.
And gay parties, right? And so it was called Hot Under the Collar, and it was a sick business, right? And what I found out pretty quickly was like it was too niche because there weren't that many hens parties.
Yeah.
And then I got asked, "Oh, do you work with brands? Do you want to work with Lacoste?" And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean, like clothes on and stuff?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, yeah, I think so, because the money was really good. I said, all right, let's fuck off the topless male waitering and let's do promo. Let's just promo agency the shit out of our business. And yeah, I had a business that was going really, really well. And then I had the opportunity with Nova. So I always said to myself, if I do get an opportunity to do the radio full time, I'll take it. And so then I sold the business, and then I went all in on the radio, and yeah, and then that's when you start kind of gambling on your skill sets that you're going to be able to make a living in the industry. So it was a good like testing ground and learning experience working with Husey and Kate, and yeah, it was also pre-social media. Like, I don't know, I reckon radio was bigger back then.
Yeah.
Like it just without social media, yeah, it was a big show, and I got a lot of opportunities from that. And I started stand up from that. I got like a little momentum, boost or push from my profile on the radio show. So it kind of started me a bit faster than someone who didn't have that platform, and then yeah, away I went. But I think one of the biggest things I learned from that experience was honesty. So if you're telling a story, tell the truth.
Yeah. Okay.
Because if you're working with two or three, you got three hosts here. You guys are all brothers, though, so you know each other pretty well. But if you're doing a radio show and you're dealing with someone who tells stories but has elements of truth closed off, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You're never gonna. It's like playing tennis with the ball's not coming back. Like it's not. You can tell when it's not truthful.
Yeah. Yep.
So I remember I was like doing a breakfast show one morning with Kate Langbrook, and I think she was like asking me about my dating life, and I was like, oh, I think I was making up some shit. And I think because I wanted to protect the girl
that
I was with, I didn't want people knowing.
Yeah.
And then Kate said to me afterwards, like, if you're going to do this show, we're warts and all. Everything's on. Everything's content. Everything's part of the show. And and Ed was grappling with that too, because Ed had come from a different type of radio show where he had to be more honest as well. That's Ed Cavalier. So. Yeah. Once we got that, then that makes you better.
Yeah. So, okay. Cool.
And that's why, like, I don't really rate comedians. My favorite comedians or entertainers are the ones who are the same on mic as off mic. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Whether they're performing or not, they're kind of that. Like, that's who they are.
Yeah.
They're not fucking. Night and day. So, yeah.
No, fantastic. You then finished up your radio career, went to LA. A lot of the hilarious stories that we've heard over the journey are often the ones that seem to have taken place in LA. There must be something out in the water over there. Are you able to run us through a bunch of those?
Yeah, I think LA is just, I went over there with a bit of money, but I spent that real quick. So then I was going to have to come home, and I wasn't ready to come home because I said I was going to be like a big star, and I'd said goodbyes and all this shit. And then I just started trying to make money in America, trying to make the American dollar. So that's when I worked in the gay bar. I did the tickling videos. I did any job I could for money.
So what are the tickling videos? How does the tickling videos come about? What's that from woe to go like?
Oh, well, there's a, Craigslist. It's like seek.com.au, but, much dodgier. And you just like, because like, jokes aside, like people get murdered on Craigslist. So you do have to be a little bit careful. And like the Craigslist killer, it's like a real thing. It's like, oh yeah, this guy fucking kills people. So like, you gotta know when it's a good job, or you might get murdered. But I saw one that just said tickling video, $500, and I was like, mate, this is a good job. This one's gonna be good. And so I called the guy up, and I'm just like, hey mate, I just saw your tickling video ad. What's the story? And he's like, yeah, you get paid $500 where you can keep your suit pants on the whole time. And I've got one question for you. Are you ticklish? And I said, yeah, bro. Of course. I'm ticklish. I didn't even know if I was. But I was like,
not going to lie at this point.
Who's not? I mean, I thought back to my childhood. I was like, yeah, I think I was ticklish. So he goes, yeah, meet me in like 3 days in this fucking hotel, which was about an hour away. And I called my mate and I said, listen, man, can you drive me there? Because I didn't have a car at the time. So I said, can you drive me there? But I also want you to be my chaperone and like make sure I don't get, murdered.
Yeah.
And I'll give you $50. So he got 50 and he drove me out there, and then yeah, just you play a character. Again, I was Jasper.
Yep.
And I was playing a hotel manager. And there are videos of this. I think they've been taken down, but they're very, very popular tickle videos in the industry. Obviously, it's like a fetish website, and these tickle videos were like, I don't know, if it was like an Oscar award for tickling, I would have won a few. And so yeah, I just played this hotel manager called Jasper, and I walked in and I was inspecting a noise complaint, and then like this guy fucking injects me with a sleeping syringe.
Yeah, right.
And then then I fall asleep. A bit of acting is needed. I do a fake fall asleep, and then I wake up and the guy's got me handcuffed to the couch, and he's just tickling me. And yeah, so we did like 4 or 5 videos. I got my 500, and that was it. And I thought, I don't need to do that again. I think I've got the money, and I had the story as well. Because again, I was like, at this point, I'd realized that some of these stories were funny only because I told friends about them. I didn't want anyone knowing that I was doing, I was working at the gay bar every Friday and Saturday. I'm doing tickling videos. I'm doing like any job I can find on Craigslist that's paying cash, right? And when people would ask me what I was doing, I just wouldn't tell them. But my friends knew. They're like, "What?" And then I remember they were laughing, and they thought it was pretty funny. So I thought, oh, that's interesting that these stories are funny. So then I transitioned them to stand up, and then I thought I'll just try some of these stories in stand up, and they did really well. And so then I was like, well, maybe I can just, live my life and make money doing these jobs, but also be creating material. So there's, it kind of was a win-win. And yeah, we've got so many stories. I'm actually trying to sell a book about all the stories and all of the
Tales of Jasper.
the tale. Mate, that's actually a great title. But, actually, yeah. So it's just all about LA and how you've got to say yes to things, and that by saying yes to things, you can sometimes get more than you bargain for in a good way. Like, a lot of us are just like playing it safe, and like, to use a metaphor, we're on the highway of life or whatever. But like, sometimes you got to go on the fucking back streets, and you'll definitely get some stories out there. So yeah, we'll see if anything comes of that book. I've got an agent who's trying to sell it, so we'll know in the next month.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask, obviously listening to your stories like the ones from LA, you do seem to have a very sort of carefree attitude around any opportunity. Is that something that you've always had, or is that something that grew from needing to do it in LA?
It's another great question. A really good question. Two from two, or 3 from 3. No, it's something that I developed. Absolutely. It's not natural to say yes to a tickling video. It's not, it comes from a desperation to, survive. It's like demand and supply. It's like economics. It's like, all right, what do I need to make rent this month? Yeah. What are my options? There's no way in hell I would have done a tickling video or worked at a gay bar if I didn't need the money.
Yeah, that's fair.
So having that desperation forced me into, some situations I didn't want to be in.
Yeah.
I dreaded working at the gay bar. Like, for a long time, I was like, fuck, man, not this again. But then I realized that, like, it's not too bad if it's going to be providing material. And it's, so yeah, you develop that. And now if you don't need things and you're not desperate, sometimes you don't say yes to things. So I still try and say yes to things, just out of habit now. Just try, see. I probably say yes to too many things, but
this included, probably.
No, this is why I had no idea you guys were big on TikTok. So,
we should lead
we
with
should
that.
include that in the
Yeah, we
emails
should
from now
bring
on.
our stats.
We're very mindful of your time.
Oh, look, dude. No, guys. It's actually my honor. It's but podcasting is such, because it's good to hear that you guys are doing well, because podcasting, it's like it's an interesting game now. Like, it's just it's really cluttered, and if you can turn around some big numbers in any medium, you're doing pretty well. So
that's it.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. We're very mindful of your time here, and we're appreciative to have you on the show. We've got one final question. Obviously, us doing the podcast, trying to wriggle our way into radio and more entertainment stuff in the future. Do you have any advice for us young lads?
What advice do I have?
Maybe something you'd give to yourself when you were our age.
People ask me for advice. It's like, dude, we're all still hustling. Like, everyone's still hustling. Like, fucking Dave Hughes is still hustling. Ed Cavalier's still hustling.
Yeah, true.
Everyone is still trying. Everyone is fucking hustling. So, like, I don't know. I've spoken to a few people who I would have thought in their eyes would think that they've made it. But some people just, like, I don't know. They're asking for advice, and they're fucking like trillionaires. So yeah, it's funny. It's like, obviously I can definitely impart some advice, but you're getting it from a guy who's still trying to make things happen himself. But I would just say, understand this is a bit cliche, but like, if you're trying to do comedy, understand what kind of comedy you're trying to do, and then practice it, and meet people, say yes to things, treat it like a business, but have fun. And I think that's the biggest thing. You got to have fun. If you're not having fun, then don't bother.
Yep.
Because and it's a slog. It is a slog. So, but you're lucky that you're doing it with your brothers. I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think the overarching thing would just be say yes to things and try and be diligent with things you think are funny in terms of or interesting. If you have an idea, try and write that down or try and bring it to life rather than ignoring the idea.
Yeah, cool.
If you know what I mean.
No, that makes sense.
I like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good man. Before we do finish, I do have one question because are you back living with your mum now?
Oh, mate, I've actually just moved it out.
Oh,
I know,
okay.
but I want to move back. I love living with mum.
Because I'm a huge fan of the mum texts that you share on Instagram. They're arguably my favourite thing that you ever shared, to be honest.
We're doing this in the back room of our mum's house currently.
Yeah.
Mate, mums are the best. You know, I've moved out about a month ago, and I said to a mate yesterday, and I said, "Oh, mate, I just want to move back with mum." And he goes, "That's so weird. No one ever says that." But I don't know, man. You get treated like a king. You know, mum's always got some dips and some, you know, cheese and some crackers, and we've got plenty to watch. You know, we just watched an Elizabeth Taylor documentary during the week. Mate, you probably have never heard of Elizabeth
No, I've
Taylor.
no idea.
Dude, it's like, yeah, she's
Lachlan
you know
Murdoch.
what? Yeah. No, she is one of she's top 10 movie stars of all time.
Yeah, right.
And anyway, I was watching it with mum, and I don't know. There's something beautiful about you know, if you've got a good relationship with your mum or your dad, or just having a relationship with your parent, it's nice. So yeah, and I'm lucky that mum sends me all those texts and provides a lot of material. You know, I've got a newish stand-up show that I'll be doing at the start of next year, and a lot of that comes from mum.
Yeah, cool.
You know, and living with mum. So, yeah, she's just full of funny things. But you know what mums are like? They're never trying to be funny.
No, exactly.
So, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I'll move back.
Too good. With every guest that comes on the MacPack podcast, we do award them with a MacPack VI Pack cap. So we'll send one out to you. Yours is emblazed with the number 28 on it.
Nice. Is that I'm the 28th guest?
You
That's
are,
correct,
yeah.
yes.
So you have a different number on every hat.
Yes, we got all
yeah.
these custom, a bit like a baggy green. So they've all got a custom number on them so that everyone sort of can take pride in what number they were.
There you go.
Mate, this is huge. You boys are doing all right, because that's not cheap.
No, it's not. It's not cheap.
Number and,
But
you
you've
know,
dedicated some time to us this morning, and you've had a rough time of things in the few hours that you have been up and about. It's the least we could do.
Look, you try, like, I'm always happy to do podcasts, but I've stopped doing as many as I used to, because I just can't be fucked. But sometimes it forces you to tell a story, and so, you know, I think sometimes you can tell a story that you didn't have in the arsenal, and it might be funny, and
Yeah,
then all
true.
of a sudden that's a new bit. So it's kind of a forced way of work, in a way. It's a forced way of writing.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, man. So happy to jump on. I'm happy to jump on in, you know, another time down the track, touch base with you guys, see how you're tracking. Yeah, you guys are doing well. So I respect you more than I did 45 minutes ago. On TikTok. Yeah, good luck, mate.
I love the honesty.
Dirty
Well,
thanks.
thank you so much for taking some time to have a yarn with us, especially on a day that's been as eventful as yours has already.
Oh, mate, look, it hasn't been that eventful, but it's just, you know, I think I told you before we started recording, I just went for a walk with a friend, and she just likes to talk. And mate, it's always about a 3 or 4 hour walk, and
Wow.
where I park my car is only 2 hour parking, so I'm like I'm honestly speed walking my ass off for the last hour, and yeah, it's not a great way to start your day. But yeah, I'll do one thing. I want to see how successful this podcast is. So I want to see if anyone follows me on Instagram, Ash Williams 1, and just follow me and say MacPack or some shit, and then I'll know, and then I'll know it's you, and I'll know. I'll know
if
the
it was
scope.
worth your time. Yeah.
Oh look, mate. Even if it's one follow, even if it's one of you guys, I'll take it. But
we'll all unfollow and then follow you back just to get a notification.
I'll follow you back then. But I did that once on a podcast, and they were pretty pumped up about. They were doing nowhere as well as you guys are. Like these guys had no followers, no fans. These guys had nothing, right? And like I was always. I would go on their podcast from time to time, and I was always like, "What are you guys doing? Like, what's happening here?" Because I don't think anyone's listening. And,
I think I know the one you're talking about, but we won't mention it.
And then they're like, "Oh no, people are listening." And I said, "Look, guys, I reckon this is the last time I'm coming on. I reckon this is it." And then one of the hosts said to me, "Oh, what do you mean? We're doing you a favor." I said, "What the fuck, dude? You think you're doing me a favor?" I mean, I don't even know if this made it to the edit. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing you a favor. Honestly, I don't think anyone's listening. And to prove my point, my Instagram is Ash Williams 1. And if anyone is listening, please follow me so I know there's a pulse on this podcast. And I got no followers. I got nothing, and it wasn't long after that they shut the podcast down. But I wish them well, and yeah,
this could be the final nail in the coffin for us, by the looks.
No, you guys are flying because you guys. Here's the thing: you guys are trying to do something else. You're trying to, make it in commercial radio, or it's not just TikTok. You've got a few more strings to your bow, but yeah, it's I'm all behind you guys. If I could put money on you guys, I wouldn't, but I would definitely, I definitely wish you well.
Appreciate that. No, you're a good man. If you're ever in Perth, let us know. We'll come see a show. Have a few bang rocks to celebrate, and that'll be us.
Yeah, mate. Look forward to catching up. And Riley,
Hey.
Your girlfriend was a contestant in Miss Universe, yeah?
That's correct. She's the one that came up to you while you were eating a sandwich and said,
"Yeah." Because that actually threw me. Because it's not that very often that, one of the contestants' boyfriends listens to my podcast, and I was like, I was a bit like, really? She goes, "Oh, my boyfriend's a fan." I'm like, is she like just making that up? Does she think that I'm involved
in the voting,
choosing the winner? Because I don't choose the winner. I just said to her, "Yeah, cool." But no, turned out she was telling the truth. But yeah, lovely being on the podcast, boys. And yeah, send over the hat, and look forward to wearing it with a bold chest. I'm number 28. What an honor.
That's huge.
Good man, appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ash. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Legend.
Thanks, boys.
Good man. See ya. Ash Williams, hey?
Ash bloody Williams.
What a star. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the roller coaster just as much as we did. It was definitely it was fun. It was definitely a great deal of fun.
A genuine roller coaster.
Very unorthodox.
It's probably the least control I think we've ever had of a situation ever.
Yep.
It really goes to show how much a guest can throw a spanner in the works.
Oh no, he was fantastic. I loved every second of it.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, completely on his terms, wasn't it? The whole thing.
Mate, our questions don't really matter that much.
No, throw the questions out.
But he loved Joey's question.
Yeah.
That was my favourite bit.
He hates questions unless he's asking. If we just hand the sheet to him,
Joey, can you just ask the second question again?
Yeah, you know that one that he doesn't want to answer? Can you give it a crack?
Yeah.
No, it was very funny. I like his honesty. I must say, like, we often ask, what's the best piece of advice someone would give to people like us, for example. I think honesty is a policy is probably a good one from him. Like, it might not be the best policy, but it works for him. But no, I think that was probably the takeaway that I took is he can live your life on your own terms. He doesn't look at all upset about anything that he's doing because, well, if he doesn't want to do it, if he doesn't want to say it, if he doesn't
He'll
talk
tell
about
you.
something, he'll just let you know. Which I think that's a fine way to live. He was hilariously funny throughout the podcast. There was moments of deep reflection and education in the middle.
Yeah, I really like the story about when he did that presentation when he was in school. It's like the origin story.
Yeah.
Of how he's turned out the way he has.
Yeah.
He would, yeah. But even at school, he was like, yeah, fuck, man, I don't want to do this. It's boring as shit.
Yeah, true. It's,
I don't know
just
that
him
he's-
doing what he wanted to
Yeah, I
do.
don't know that he's changed that much, which I think's, he's just true to himself.
There you go. We got the full gamut of Ash Williams. He really gave us himself.
Absolutely.
During that.
He's a very quotable individual as well. You could
Yeah.
pull some of the absolute rip snorters. We had, what was it? Brothels are fun? No, what was
No, being an escort is good, and then they want to fuck you up.
Like, put that on a t-shirt.
I'm not answering that is another good one.
It's just a
That
star.
was my favourite.
He's so livid about the Make Some Noise merch as well, as he would be.
Yeah, for sure.
Seemed like a real hot topic. Didn't it?
What else? Oh, and the
These,
Miss Universe stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely some interesting points he got from us.
Yeah, definitely things that will come up in his next meeting when he's getting asked to be the host of
When
2025.
he asked us that question, I was like, so this is why he's come on the pod.
I've got questions for you. He almost asked more questions of us
we
than
should.
we did of him.
We should do a tally.
Because even towards the back end, he goes, what's the best piece of advice that you guys have
Whoa.
ever been told?
Which is a tough one to get on the spur.
We should have just gone, mate, we're not answering that. No, he was just big props to Ash for taking the time. And as I mentioned at the beginning, like he only had a very short period of time. Was what he said. I just don't think he wanted to talk to us for very long. And then by the end, he was happy to sit around and ping questions.
That's when you know it's gone well. And also, he's got one request, which is that
Oh,
you
he
guys
does.
got to follow him.
Oh, 100%.
That's our big request as well, because we sort of want to prove to him that
No one follows. Then even know that he waits.
he's apparently he's got respect for us at the moment. So let's keep that respect growing. So if you have listened to the whole thing and you are at this point, please do us all a favor. Follow Ash Williams, and more importantly, send him a message and just say, loved you on the MacPack. If that's all you do for us, we would absolutely. Don't worry about these 5-star bullshit. Just flick Ash Williams a message and let him know that you heard the pod.
Ash Williams won.
Ash Williams won.
Comment on a post even at hashtag Mac Attack. He said.
Yeah, Mac
Don't do
Attack.
Mac Attack. Just let him know he listened to you. It would be what I would be going with.
That's good.
Massive props to Ash for joining us on the podcast. We do have a bunch of potential guests coming up over the next couple of weeks.
Exciting.
So we'll see how they go, I guess.
And hopefully we get to see Ash when he comes to Perth do some stand-up comedy. That'd be great to see.
Yeah.
Now that we understand who he is as a person, it'd be great to see him up on the stage under lights.
Yeah,
For sure. Another great guest, another great show.
spot on. No, Ash is a superstar. Massive props to him for joining us. He's definitely an icon of ours in the comedic world, especially in Australia. So to have the opportunity to perch up with him and have quite a candid and honest chat for the last 40 odd minutes is definitely something that I'm going to take to the bank. That was good fun.
For sure.
Good man. All right, until we do this time next week, boys, stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to.
Go give your mum a hug.
It's ciao for now, but not forever.